Hello, how's everybody? I hope everybody's doing fine. So, today what I wanted to talk about was, okay, like the research that I did before. Remember, it's on the YouTube videos that I had about the program that I did, where I separated everything as far as the beliefs and everything that we went through. And as time went on, there's been a lot of time since then. And just when things sink in, sometimes it's good to wait, and figure out, like, um, I don't know, your mind figures it out, or you sort things out. And I read this book too. I want to tell you about this Dean Koontz book, which kind of put things together too. Um, I learned from everything, and I put things together. And what I wanted to talk about is how there's nothing. I can't. I'm gonna say for myself, okay, because that's better to say. As far as when I can use my family too, who are Jehovah Witnesses also, and you always want to help. And I told you a lot of my experiences also. I'm doing closer because sometimes this thing. I tell about my experiences also when I used to go out in service. But the first thing I want to talk about, how there's nothing in the mind. Okay. Um, as an example, I used this example before, and now I can see what happened to me. And I can see now through all the education and research that I've done, and since from then till now, which was like last year, I think we were doing where I was doing that computer program, and I told you about that and everything, and you went through that. But sometimes we can't explain what happened. We don't have the right words. But now I can see there was nothing in my mind. So let me give you the example first. Okay, I'm sorry, because I used the example before. I was out. It meant something to me because I remembered it all the time. I remember not too many of my householders, I guess you could say. And this one was when I was out in service. I remember exactly where it was and everything I did. And this young guy, and I was young too, like I said, and he talked to me and he said, "Come back." And I came back, and we went downstairs to the basement, and he tried to persuade me. And I said this before, but now I'm going to clear it up because I know exactly what was in my mind now. And I was wondering, how could I be that way? And I say to different situations like this, and also stated about how how they can do certain things. Okay, and now I have meaning for it, I guess you can say. So anyway, when we went downstairs in like the basement, we were talking, and there was nothing that he could do to convince me. And now I can see what I had in my mind, what gave me the strength to not listen to anything that he had to say. And that was because I had nothing in my mind. Nothing. There was nothing at all. And all of remember how can I say, the tables that I brought up and everything, and about different things that they believed in, like the new system, superstition, and things like that. And I kind of explained them, but if you go back and you look at the tapes, you can look at where I explained a lot of those different categories. And if you notice them all of them show you that there's nothing there. And I kept saying before that there's nothing linking to other things, which means there's nothing there at all. And that gives the person a power. It's just like when somebody's prejudiced or something like that. I always use prejudice because I think it's the same kind of training. And where you say, these people are not are not like this, or these people are not. I'm talking about all kinds of prejudice, you know. And you just teach them that, and there's nothing there to go to. The only thing it is just that statement, you know, that somebody that you believed. So now I was thinking, now I can go back to where all the times, not all the times, but most of the times when people have spoken about, you know, you can't convince them, there's no way in the world. And that's what I said when we did the tables, and you have to talk this way and you have to talk this way. But now I can see that you could do whatever you want to, but if there's nothing there, excuse me, if there's nothing there, there's just nothing there. And that's like a power, because it's like a power over you if you don't understand. But now, when you see that, you can now say this person has nothing there, you know. And it's not putting them down or anything, but it's the honest truth. And now I can see now when I talk to, because I've stated this before, like when I talk to my sister, or I used to. I don't talk to them now. Maybe I'll talk to them again some other time. But I always said that there was this feeling, this like yes, no, you know. And now I can see it's the fact that there's nothing there. Just think about it. If you go back to some of the tapes, just one where I stated, we did the tables. I'm sure a lot of people have seen that. And all of those tables that we did, the different tables, all of them linked to nothing. And I said there's no connection. But now I can see that it's not that it's just no connection, it's just that there's nothing there. And there's a power to having nothing there. It's like, it's just it. It's a program. It's a human program. And I want to say some other things. And it's a power, okay? Like, and it even, it intrigues me, that power, because there's some movies I like, I don't know if you've ever seen A Point of No Return, or there's some other movies to where there's like an assassin or something, and they have to do this job, and you see this strange feeling in their face. It's like Jane Fonda's daughter did this movie called Point of No Return, and I was always intrigued about that face. You know what I mean? That power, and it was like, I mean, she took everything out of her mind, and she was like this. You know, this is gonna. I mean. There was nothing else that could happen, because there was nothing else there. So now I can understand, and you're like intrigued, even when they're talking, and you see this one road, and that's it. And now I can see that it's this power of nothing. They've been taught something, and there's nothing there. There's nothing to hook them up to, or whatever. Okay, so that kind of puts together that whole segment that I did, as far as that, I think it was an access program, okay, because it had, maybe I can name like 5 of them, but it had Christmas, it had the cross, it had, I guess I can put the blood issue in it. I don't know if I put that one in there. We had Lucky, and what's another one? It's because I went over all of them, so it'd be easy for me to come across them. Okay. Like I said, the cross. Oh, in like a church. Okay. So all of those things, like when they hit to those different subjects, it's not that they can't, it's not that they, how can I say, not that they can't, it's not that you can persuade them, it's just that that's the only thing that exists, okay? And now when I look back at when I was a Jehovah Witness, and I remember this for a reason too. I remember them like a lot of times, but when somebody was in like the Kingdom Hall, and they would stand up, and I remember one I remember a lot was in the assembly, and they wait for the middle of the assembly, and then they stand up and go, he's lying, he's lying, he's lying, and I felt nothing. It's like, because there's nothing there, you know? So that's the power of nothing there. It was like he can't even try to convince me because there's nothing there. And now you can go back and think about all those times that happened to you, and you can see in your mind to where there was nowhere to go. There was no like avenue to persuade, because there's nothing else there. It's not hooked to anything else, like I said. And then there was another point that I wanted to bring into this, but it's flashed real quick. So anyway, I wanted to explain that. And what kind of got me on this subject was I was reading this Dean Koontz book, okay? And it was false memory, and how this psychiatrist would plant these things. He did it for fun. Plant these things in people's minds, you know, and it would really mess up the person's life, okay? And instead of him trying to fix it at the end, his joy was actually seeing them destroy themselves or commit suicide or something like that. So it's not that book, it's just the research that he did in the book, because like when I read, I can see what kind of things they had to learn and stuff like that to write the book, you know. And they had two characters in them, which was really, really neat, and how they had a husband and a wife, and they had things planted in themselves. Like, for instance, when one of the friends would go to a psychiatrist with her friend, he actually got her to also be in sort of like a hypnosis state by, she was being hypnotized by the doctor, but then he found a way to get her friend also, and he was doing these things without them knowing. But anyway, that's the book. The reason why I mentioned the book is because it gave me some insight on how, you know, like a person who's hypnotized, the effects of hypnotism, okay? And that's fiction, but what I drawed out of it was the fact that it seems like, okay, as far as me being a Jehovah Witness and my sisters and being a Jehovah Witness, it has some kind of similarities. Like, for instance, like Jehovah, okay, like always saying Jehovah, and he had these terms that would get the people to respond to him. He had certain names, okay? So, I just drew a connection, you know, because I was like saying, you know, well, you know, like, it is some kind of connection, because every time you say Jehovah, it's like some kind of, you know, like some kind of trigger, okay, you know what I mean? And then they would continually say Jehovah, Jehovah, Jehovah. Even in a cartoon, somebody explained to me about a cartoon that they had, and I swear they said Jehovah like 20, it was a short cartoon, I swear they said it like 25 times. And then they had Jehovah, which is like the trigger, and then after they say Jehovah, and then they have these other things that plants things, like for instance, like the new system, okay? Once you get this Jehovah, and then you go to the new system, and it get pretty much triggered by the word Jehovah. And then after that, you have all those other tables that I was telling you about. Anyway, but what I was thinking, how I was feeling it is, and I know if you're a Jehovah Witness, you understand what I'm talking about. If you were a Jehovah Witness, you would understand what I'm talking about. Because the, how am I going to put it? Okay, so you have, so what I wanted to say is, they stay in that state, the trance-like state. Okay, I'm not saying it's sort of like a hypnotizing or something, hypnosis, because they always stay in that same state. Okay, like for instance, I've talked to them. I talked to my sister. I talked to some other people, like the people who are passing out magazines and stuff like that. And I noticed that kind of like a trance type situation, and they just stay there. And then I was thinking, when I was a Jehovah Witness, and how, I can't say that they're hypnotized, but it's some kind of trance-like state. Because I remember now thinking back how, with my friends and everything, I don't really miss them. You know what I mean? Out of the hardest thing to leave the organization, it was, as far as, like a lot of friends, which I had a lot of friends, I don't really remember like real beautiful times, certain friends, but there's so many people as far as the Jehovah Witness that, it wasn't really like situations, even at a lot of get-togethers, that I really, really enjoyed, to remember, okay? Because, like I'm older and you remember a lot of things, beautiful memories, but I don't have those, like, unique, beautiful memories. So what I wanted to put, so I'm saying in this video is that, okay, there is a nothing. I know that's point blank. And there is like a trance or kind of like a hypnotic kind of thing, because it says Jehovah too much. It's like Jehovah, 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 Jehovah. And then they have these things, and like the governing body, they have this power over them, like the psychiatrist has over the person he's being hypnotized, Pretty much you don't even have to suggest anything. They could pretty much, have to stay in their world, but they got them to believe constantly that the world is coming to an end and they're going to be the only survivors. But think about that. Think about just think about what I said. I know a lot of people who were Jehovah's Witnesses, they could understand. Then my last point was, it has to be what I was talking about anyway, before I get to the last point, because it takes so long. Actually, in my last point, is how long it takes to fix yourself. Because, like, even in a book I was telling you about, they couldn't fix the people, okay? But in the real world, you have to fix yourself. When you leave the organization, you have to fix yourself, okay? And they're strong. A lot of people don't fix themselves. So I was thinking, they just can't come out of, you just can't come, and we always talked about this, but this is not going to happen. It wouldn't be a good idea to happen. It can't happen, because you just don't come out. And that's one thing that we always talked about, is our family coming out of the organization and everything's hunky-dory, but it can't, because it takes a long time, because they would have to fix themselves individually, and for me, like I said, to really start feeling like pierdu. It took maybe like 8 years to where I started really feeling like I was together, you know. But when you first come out, you go crazy, and I've seen it so many times. And I wanted to put this other point in. I hope I can put it in. No. So that's the point I wanted to say at the end was for them to actually come out. It's just no coming out. I mean, it's just like no unblinding. Like, you know, you close your eyes and then you can see. It takes a while. So I think we got that kind of mixed up in the fact that we always think about them calling us and saying, oh, everything's all right, now I believe you, and such and such and such. But remember how long it took us to become ourselves. So it would take them a while. We're talking about years and years. So what we're doing is actually good work because we're giving them information about how to make it a better way to come out, to strengthen themselves, and what happened to them and what happened to us. So that's what I wanted to just talk about. So I talked about how there's nothing. That's a big point, okay? So now you know when you're talking to them about the points that we came up with in the tables, there's nothing there. That's a power, but now you have a power because you know, you can say while they're talking, you can see that there's nothing there. Some of you know now, because you know that there's nothing there, you have a better understanding of what to do. Not me yet, okay? I don't have an understanding of what to do yet. Some people do. When I just tell them that there's nothing there, then they go, oh, I could do this, and then I could do this, and I could do this. Okay, so that's good. And then the next point was they're definitely in some kind of a trance or hypnotic state, because talk to them. I mean, you know, it's like you see them all the time. It's like, hello, how's it going, man? Just fine. You know, you understand? I mean, so it's some kind of state, okay? And then for them to come out, I've always had the notion that they would just come out, but I never realized, I never connected that if it took me 8 years, it would take them, it doesn't happen overnight. So in actuality, we are doing a good job because we're giving them help on how difficult it is to, can I say reprogram? Not deprogram yourself, you know? And remember, when we deprogrammed, just think about all the things you go through. And, I wanted to say just one thing, okay. I didn't just, it's been a long time since I did these videos. These are for people who are trying to do videos, because I know that they do YouTube videos. Before I started doing videos, I listened to people. I didn't know I wanted to do videos. I didn't know I could do videos. But, you know, I had a lot of things. I really did it for my family, you know, that's one good reason for people if you have a big family in Jehovah Witness, they can sneak and watch you. So that's why I started doing it. But I wanted to say, before I started doing it, I listened to people maybe a long time. Because if I hooked up like in 2011, and you know me, I'm the type of person that don't believe in overnight. So 2011, 2023, I think it was 2011. Yeah, 2011 when I started listening. And I think I listened to, about 5 years. I listened to YouTubes on ex-jehovah Witnesses for 5 years, at least 5 years. And they strengthened me. So that's the most important thing. I mean, if you want to start, some people like to do videos and they think about how how to do videos. It's not just doing videos, but I didn't know I was going to do them. But I think the best thing to do, the best thing I did was listen. I listened to, and the thing I didn't like though was how certain people did videos and you really like the videos and then they'd be gone. Okay, so not everybody can do YouTube videos because you have to keep going. You can't just stop. You know what I mean? And there was a lot of people who I listened to, and they would do 5 videos and that was it. You know what I mean? And they were very good. But that's another reason why I keep up with my YouTube videos, because it's important. And like the information I told you it didn't happen overnight. I mean, this is all the work that we did at least from last year, you know. But anyway, that's it for today. Thank you for coming along. And tomorrow I have, I'm going to do some music videos. And I'm also going to the skating rink because I got Dance Without Music. I know I always say it, but no, it's not Dance Without Music anymore. It's American Yoga, okay? And it's Christian friendly, okay? So anyway, look for my other videos, and I really enjoyed speaking with you all and having this conversation. This is Pierre Deux. Happy New Year. I gotta give you a Happy New Year. Happy New Year.